Hello and welcome. It's Charles Fockaert, April 3rd, 2019. I want to thank all of you, all of those who support this channel. It's really nice to have the support, the backup, because then I can go ahead and get some of the things that I need, knowing that is there. I very much appreciate that. It reduces my not stress level, but hey, it's something you think about. You know, you need this, need that, and you don't. You know, the Lord always supplies, always supply. All my life, He's taken care of me, and I don't think I'm ever going to have to stand on a corner with a cup in my hand. I have one of those cups just in case. just kidding. Hey, I want to talk about clean and unclean foods, but before I do that, I was reading this morning in Proverbs chapter 3, this is April 3rd, and in Proverbs 3:1, my son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments, for length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. And when I was thinking about that, he's talking about Proverbs 3:1, there's, forget not my law. And it's interesting to me because the judeo-christians will say that, that the law is the Old Testament, and that was what done away with on the cross. You know, everything changed, and that's how they interpret Acts chapter 10, where the what was previously unclean is now clean because some sheets come down out of heaven in a parable for Peter to understand what's going on. And they disregard the law, and yet the law is what they're basing what they're doing on in Israel there on the Temple of the Mount. They want to rebuild the temple. Well, that's Old Testament. And they want to offer sacrifices. These Esau-Edomites want to offer sacrifices on the altar in that temple they want to build, and it has nothing to do with the Old Testament as the judeo-christian Zionists believe. And it's just I don't want to use the word entertaining, but it's amusing and amazing and astonishing how these people don't even realize how contrary what they're doing is. If the Old Testament is no longer in play, and the one ordinance regarding the animal sacrifices is the one that was eliminated on the cross, and that's the very aspect of the law that the Zionists and the Judeo-Christians want to reinstitute in Israel, in Jerusalem, on the Temple Mount. And they're willing to cause World War III. These people don't care. They love war, folks. And there's an obstacle there. But anyway, they ignore the Old Testament law. It's no longer in effect. It was hung on the cross and all that. You know all that. But then they go ahead and they want to build a temple, which institutes the very sacrifices that were eliminated because of the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. He was the Lamb of God slain for his kinsmen. But it's the Judeo-Christians haven't a clue. You can't talk to them. They don't get it, and they never will. They're blinded. I don't even think I'm going to get to the clean and unclean video on this one because there's so many other things that I would like to bring up. Been reading quite a bit about the invasion coming from Central America up to the United States. And I was talking to a fellow the other day, and the first thing I said about when we got on the discussion of immigration, I said they should have stopped all immigration on the first day. He was kind of a Trump supporter. He was defending Trump. They're attacking. He's bought into the narrative. He doesn't understand that it's all professional wrestling.
Knows all too well, if you get in the ring with Trump, you're gonna take a beating. Donald Trump! Donald Trump! Donald Trump!
Trump is playing his part. And I don't know why so many people have such a hard time with that. It's because I understand now. I've been watching this program. See, I was out of the country for 13 years, and I never watched TV, the weekly series that everybody gets hooked into, okay? And so I've been watching these series, these television series that were on while I was outside the country. And now I'm beginning to understand why or where Americans have gotten some of the things they say, like you need to own it, or I'm all in and over the top and reach out. They get this off of the screen, the flat screen they all have that makes it look so real to them. And they see there's a blending of the illusionary world, the Hollywood world that's created on the flat screen and in the movies in the big screen, and reality. They take everyday events, everyday subjects, and they give you their life from the aspect, from the perspective of the Hollywood scriptwriters. Okay, and we all know who all the Hollywood script writers are. So I'm watching this one particular program, and I almost said it there. The typical. It's so easy to spot the typical Esau-Edomite thinking as they project who they are and what they're all about onto the screen, and then we absorb that and we take it in, and they do a little bit at a time. They don't start off with boom in your face. It's little by little, subtle. Nakash is the most subtle. He was more subtle than any other beast of the field. So that's in their DNA, folks. It's in their DNA. And I can see where even the arguments, even the way people respond to each other now, it's from the flat screen. And wow, I see in Asia, you don't get people responding. The white race responds to each other in such a in-your-face way that you don't see in a lot of other people, other cultures. You don't see it there, okay? At least I didn't. And it's just there's the resolution of conflict. It's taken care of in a different way, less aggressive way, let's say. And I think we've gotten the aggression that we inhibit from the flat screen, and those who produce those images and those examples for others to follow and emulate in culture, with the icons that we have, these movie stars, these important people with the red carpet and the awards, and so these are the people we want to be like. That woman, that woman who wears that power suit in that corporate operation, who's equal to any man in the office. It's just quite frankly, it's hard to watch that crap. It's very, very hard to watch that crap, and it just gets more perverse as you move from one series to the next, and in the episodes. It's just, you go, and then finally I saw one episode. I said, well, that isn't even the extreme of the perverseness of the people who are imagined these scripts and then act them out in the film on the screen for everyone to watch in their homes. It's just wow, what an influence that Talmud vision has had, eh? It's obvious to most people now that Trump's not doing a damn thing. He's not doing a damn thing. He had to backtrack. That was the stupidest thing to shut down all the border. You know, why doesn't he just enforce the laws? And he's got the border patrol saying it's the influx, the invasion is, quote, staggering. Staggering. Where's that national emergency he was going to? He's not doing anything he said he was going to do. And you still got these truth tellers, and I don't want to name any names, folks, but there's a lot of people getting fooled by some of these people. And it's just amazing. Trump's going to keep his support going as long as he possibly can while he makes Israel great again. We got these floods and the potential for more floods in the Midwest. We got 1 million beef cattle and sheep drowned in the floods. We have, I should say, bad English there, we have a potential there for not planting for months. You know, what's scary is that the people in charge, especially even at the state level, they're incompetent. They're incompetent. Two of the dam, remember that dam in Orville that collapsed? Well, it's already beginning to show weakness, and the snow's in the Sierra Nevada at 150% of snow level. That, you know, and they never mention, the mainstream never mentions, you never see it on the local news, that maybe, just maybe, you know, maybe they don't even acknowledge the fact that the skies are being filled with geoengineering. A few images I took, I think it was last week here in Arizona, and this is early in the morning, and as you can see, they're already hard at work and pretty widespread between Los Angeles and Phoenix, Arizona. It's all over the skies almost every day. This is what we see every day. All those chemicals, those nanoparticles have to go somewhere, folks. You know, they're getting into our system, getting into our brains, getting into our tissue. And yet, in relation to the weather, it's never mentioned. Never mentioned. I read this morning where there's some sheriffs in Colorado, or one in particular, and I don't remember the name exactly, but he's opposed. He said he's willing to go to jail, and not enforcing these red flag laws. I've been there, folks. You don't want this to pass, and they're passing all over the country. That is somebody. They got a whole list, and including family members can call up and accuse you. It can call the local law enforcement and say that my uncle, my husband, my father, my brother, whoever has weapons, and he's been acting erratically lately, and we think he might be a threat, a risk. So they can come in and take all your weapons away. And Trump is for that. Trump said, take the weapons away first and deal out the due process later. Folks, that's the president that so many people think is a patriot and wants to protect. I mean, come on, folks. That doesn't tell you. Anyway, he's willing. This one sheriff, the point I want to make there is, you know, you might want to find out what your sheriff is, how he stands in relation to the Constitution, because he's the highest law enforcement authority. He's the law when it comes. He's the man. He's the person. He's the individual that's responsible for the enforcement of the law, and he can decide not to enforce laws that he feels are unconstitutional. He's our last barrier between the feds and even the state from our rights being taken away or trodden on, or what's the word, that infringed upon. I'm thankful that I can move around, because when I think push comes to shove, I'm going to want to be in a county where the sheriff is going to be on my side. What do you think? There's even different states and cities and counties that are coming out with, what do they call them? Sanctuary, Second Amendment, sanctuary cities, county, states, etc. Now, see, a lot of people don't see how important that is. I think it might be pretty important. I'd want to live in one of those states or one of those counties, and because you're going to be the last one that they're going to be able to get to, because your sheriff's going to be on your side, so he's going to put up resistance. They're going to go to the other areas that are least resistant to the plan they have of this new world order, headquartered in Jerusalem, with an altar that's going to sacrifice. And I ask you folks, what are they going to sacrifice on those altars? You think it's going to be sheep and goats and lambs and steaks? I think you better think again, and you better look into. You might want to. I don't want to tell you what to do, but you might want to look into the Noahide laws that were implemented or on the books. I understand they're on the books since 1990s with George W. Bush Sr. Of course, he was on our side, wasn't he? Yes, as was his son. You notice how Trump hasn't done a damn thing about what happened on 9/11? Never even comes up, folks. Never even comes up. Neither does locking up Hillary, and neither does I haven't heard a word about all these tribunals that are supposed to be coming up, and 40,000 indictments, and this and that, and these guys, deep states going to jail.
Blah 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 blah.
It's all professional wrestling. It's all theater. It's all show. It's just taking from the flat screen and now transferring it into the mainstream media news, and then what is our reality? We have the non-white females becoming mayors. There's the first mayor of Chicago who's a female lesbian. See how proud Chicago is. And this is what's going on now in the United States is heaven for these Esau-Edomites, and most of you judeo-christians don't have a clue as to how they're laughing about you behind their back.
Everybody on the left and the right, oh, how could he call Americans stupid? Show the clip of the one man in America who agrees with him. But I would never put anything past this stupid country.
Because people are dummies. They don't know what's going on.
I think a lot of them are just dumb. I'm the bad guy for saying people are dumb. They're not bright enough to really understand the issues.
People are already complaining that you're calling the United States a stupid country and giving you a chance to clarify.
I don't need to clarify. It is.
An email the other day from Google said that the search bots, the robots, are not going to read my blog, trexreplies.blogspot.com. So anyway, I gotta go look into that. I don't know if there's something I can do to undo that, but I want to talk about this banning and being censored. There was 3 things YouTube said a while back last month, I think. They're going to start to hinder the discovery on the search and on their quote platform. But even for Google, no, I think it was Facebook. No, YouTube. Sorry. This is only YouTube, but it's going on all over. They're going to prevent people from, or restrict or hinder their finding of what they considered, off the wall extremists, and they included off the wall or extremist material. Out of the mainstream, unacceptable conspiracy theories. Give it whatever name you want. So that was AMA, shall we say, non-AMA accepted cures and prescriptions and procedures when it comes to healthcare. That they're not going to somebody on the internet that's got this cure or this natural cure, this natural remedy. They're going to hide that. They're going to discourage you from us from being able to make up our own minds on that subject. And flat Earth was one of them. And the other one was 9/11 conspiracy theory. So, what does that tell you, folks? Those are three of the very topics and very subjects you should look into. And now it's going to be harder to get the truth out of that. But those are the ones we need to be sure we have a correct understanding of. So embrace the love of the truth and go wherever it takes you, because it's that old cliche. It's the truth that will do one thing that we're all looking for, and they don't want us to have. Ender there. That's enough of my view, my opinion, and I'd appreciate it if you would share your opinion. Put your comment below this video. I do my best to respond. There's some people that I just don't have the energy, because it's so obvious how their thinking is wrong. And if they would watch more of my videos, I wouldn't have to answer them in particular. Don't have time, folks. I go down to the library and upload and download the video, so I have something to look at. But I do appreciate your comments. I would appreciate it if you leave them. We'll try to respond. If you seem to me to be an okay commenter and without not going to leave a pile in the comments here that I have to clean up later, I will approve you. Otherwise, gonna have to go comment by comment. So I want to thank those of you who support this channel, and I would really encourage you, anyone here new, to embrace a love for the truth. And in order to get the truth, you have to be willing to accept it once it's handed to you. And I could tell you a story about how I almost was killed while I was flying, and if I hadn't accepted the truth of the instruments on my instrument panel, I wouldn't be here today. So maybe I'll put that story on how I came to realize in a big way how important the truth is. So at this point, may we all ask Yahweh for His grace upon us, for we most certainly need it. See ya.